News Panorama is a TV news magazine program that gives you the story behind the story.
It tells the stories the way they should be told by capturing the larger scale.
It deals with people's deep feelings on issues that, when brought to the fore, ultimately educates, informs, and entertains.
News Panorama. Capture the larger scale.
Over the last electoral cycles, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has consistently sought to apply technology to improve the credibility and safety of electoral processes in Nigeria. A few days ago, the Nigerian Senate renewed the intense debate on electoral transmission of election results, passing key amendments to the Electoral Act 2026 in early February 2026 to allow the practice while reversing an earlier rejection of the proposal. The upper chamber subsequently re-amended the Electoral Act to accommodate the electoral transmission of results. However, the provision comes with a caveat that in the event of internet failure, Form EC 84 will serve as the primary means of result collation. Today is World Broadcast Day, a day set aside to thank broadcasters for the news they deliver, the voices they amplify, and the story they share. This and many more are on our lineup this week. It is a must-watch.
News Panorama. Capture the larger scale.
Welcome and thanks for joining us on the program News Panorama. I am Josephine Efanga. If you have just tuned in, you are watching News Panorama. The Cross River State Governor and the Commissioner for Education has been commended for prioritizing education and embracing technology-driven solutions to ensuring that the state education system meets modern technological standards. This was made known by the Education Management System Information, Communication and Technology officers across the 18 local government areas of the state during a one-day program on the use of implementation of the Trace and Track digital platform in Calabar, they report.
The quest to reposition the Cross River State educational sector from an outdated analog system to a modern high-quality standard is now in full gear, as the government intensifies efforts to embrace technology in global best practices, greater efficiency, and global competitiveness. In line with this vision, the Ministry of Education, in collaboration with the State Universal Basic Education Board, organized a strategic training under the World Bank-supported Project Hope Governance Initiative to strengthen digital monitoring and accountability in education delivery. In Cross River State, for Education Management Information System and Information Communication Technology officers from the 18 local government area partook the practical training on the use and implementation of Trace and Track digital platform program aimed at modernizing the way education projects are managed.
It's very, very enlightening, and it's what I've always been praying for, and I thank God I'm alive to see this particular day, because I have been waiting for this moment to see how the educational sector of Cross River State can be digitalized. So I'm very grateful that I've lived to witness this particular moment and know that at least Cross River State has taken another bold step in enhancing the educational opportunities and enhancing the educational sector in the state.
This is just the beginning. Like he has said, the commissioner have said, this is just the beginning. Other good things are coming into play in educational sector, and I really appreciate them. I really appreciate them. I know God will continue to give them the enablement to do more in educational sector.
It is a technological journey, information technological journey from analog to digital. In fact, it is a moment where we transit from where we send materials in a very local way. So now it is a digital transmission of information, and this information can be accessed at any level. It cannot only be in one area, but can be accessed in every offices if only they have accessibility to the platform.
The EMIS and ICT officers from Calabar Municipal, Mr. Ayo Organ, Odukpani, Mr. Francis Victor Ekwiken, and that of Boki Local Government Area, Mr. Collins Nso Ele, explained that the platform would make it easier to follow up on projects from start to completion. They also share that in the past, monitoring education projects could be slow and sometimes unclear. However, with the Trace and Track digital platform, they believe the process will now be faster, more open, and more accountable.
The training, as we all know, is to enable the states to begin to track and trace learning and educational materials using online platform developed and deployed by Creative Alpha Vial Enterprise Limited to support the initiative of government, a Hope Edu project that is supported by World Bank. In Nigeria, so far, there has been a problem of effective data availability, especially for equipment or book materials sent to various schools. Most times it's difficult to even know or track where these books are or where other learning materials that have been given are. So this is actually very important. With this, government can, make sure that efficiency is guaranteed, transparency is also, guaranteed when it comes to giving and distributing learning materials to reach the students who are the primary target of the project.
You all were carefully selected by your various education secretaries to take part in this training. And the essence of this training is to enable us trace and track whatever material that is coming from UVEC or from SUBEC to the various LGAs. So you can see that your duty is very important. And that is why government have shown commitment by providing you with laptop. The essence of this is for you to be enhanced, is for you to be equipped to be able to manage the work that has been assigned to you. We are moving from analog system of inventory management to a digital system where everything that is coming from either state or from any other organization should be well documented, and that is why you are given this laptop.
Retired Magistrate Fidelia Okpoene, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Cross River State SUBEP, Mr. Inyang Eta, and the Information Communication Consultant, Mr. Emmanuel Abu, noted that embracing technology is necessary if the state education system must meet global standards and deliver better results for pupils and teachers. They urged the EMIS and ICT officers to make effective use of the training and equipment provided to them in order to ensure quality service delivery.
We thank His Excellency the Governor of Cross River State, Senator Dr. Apostle Prince Basiede Tutu, for this timely approval and release of funds required for the development and deployment of the Trace and Track digital portal and procurement of the needed ICT equipment. Today's training marks a very significant shift in our approach to resource management. The era of receiving instructional materials without proper tracking and ensuring they reach the intended pupils and teachers in public schools is over. The training is focused on technical capacity building, emphasizing hand-on operations, book tracking, data management. EMIS and ICT officers from all the 18 local governments, the education authorities offices are recognized as the key drivers and tasked with implementing the digital platform across schools statewide.
The Cross River State Commissioner for Education, Senator Stephen Udi, maintained that the late administration of the Governor of Cross River State, Senator Basiede Otu, is taking bold steps to align the state education system with modern technological standards. Senator Ode expressed optimism that with consistent implementation of the digital platform under Project Hope Governance, education delivery in Cross River State will become more efficient, transparent, and beneficial to community across the state. The event witnessed presentation of laptops to all the 18 local government area education management information system officers, training on processing of data collation for schools in the state, amongst others. For CRBC News Panorama, Blessing Basi reporting.
The Cross River State government has continued to work assiduously to improve waste management across the state, introducing measures aimed at keeping the environment clean and healthy. While these efforts are gradually yielding results in many areas, indiscriminate dumping of refuse on some streets is threatening to undermine the progress made. Bright Inset examines the government's waste management drive and how improper disposal habits are putting this effort at risk. The report.
The indiscriminate dumping of refuse on the ground remains a common environmental problem in Calabar, particularly in the southern part of the city. Despite efforts by the governor of Cross River State, His Excellency Senator Prince Basiotu, and his administration to provide sufficient waste bins at various locations across Calabar, the challenge persists. While the government has made visible efforts to improve waste management by placing bins in strategic areas, many residents continue to dump refuse on the ground. In Improper, for instance, some citizens still dispose of waste carelessly even when the waste bins provided are empty and accessible. Speaking with some residents, they complained about the unavailability of waste bins close to their homes.
Maybe they are too tired to find a waste bin, or because there is no waste bin close by, or maybe they feel they are too big to stand up to where they can drop the refuse.
People dump refuse on the ground because they find it useless. For example, when you eat a biscuit, the waterproof is useless for you. So what do you have to do? You have to find where to drop it because it's useless. But it's unfortunate that people dump it on the ground, and now the remedy for it is that we have waste bin around. We can put those waterproof in the waste bin or put it in isolated places and then burn it afterward.
Others, however, admitted that the problem is not entirely about availability but attitude. According to them, some individuals are simply unwilling to walk a short distance to dispose of their trash properly. They emphasized the need for continuous public enlightenment on proper waste disposal practices and the importance of maintaining a clean environment.
I think the reason why people dump refuse on the floor is because, one, lack of public waste, two, laziness, and three, the distance from where they are to waste bin. So what we can do to stop this act is providing public waste bins around markets and streets.
Littering is a real issue. People do it for so many reasons, such as lack of awareness, laziness, or just don't care. To reduce this act, we will start by educating people on the impact of littering, providing enough trash cans, and also making it a habit to dispose waste properly.
These ones pointed out that the lack of strict enforcement of environmental sanitation laws contributes significantly to the problem. They believe that without clearly implemented regulations and penalties, people will continue to dispose of waste indiscriminately. According to them, the government should enforce existing sanitation laws and introduce fines for offenders caught dumping refuse illegally, noting that the strict implementation of such measures will serve as a deterrent and significantly reduce the careless disposal of trash.
People dump refuse on the ground because there are no waste bins to dump your refuse, and the law are not doing anything about it. Then I feel waste bins should be put in place, bigger and larger ones of different sizes for the waste bins to keep our environment.
Some refuse on the ground due to lack of access to proper facilities, awareness, or laziness. And to reduce this, we have to make visible the equipment to use, like proper dustbins, and should be kept on every street.
Indiscriminate dumping of refuse poses serious environmental and public health risks. It contributes to pollution, blocks drainage systems leading to flooding, and increases the spread of diseases. However, with adequate facilities, consistent public education, strict enforcement of environmental laws, and responsible behavior from citizens, this problem can be greatly reduced. A clean environment promotes healthier living conditions and improves the overall quality of life for everyone. For CRBC News Panorama, Dima Aidam reporting, as filed in by Bright and said.
The Senate on Tuesday reversed its earlier decision on the Electoral Act's amendment, revisiting the controversial issue of electronic transmission of election results. The upper chamber re-amended the act to accommodate the electronic transmission of results to INEC Results Viewing Portal, IREV, after vote counting. However, the provision stops short of making it mandatory, allowing the use of Form EC84 as the primary means of collation in the event of internet failure. This development has once again drawn attention to the ongoing debate over transparency and credibility in Nigeria's electoral processes. News Panorama crew was on the street of Calabar to sample opinions on this matter, they report.
Nigeria's electoral process has over the years remained a subject of intense debate, particularly on issues of transparency, credibility, and public trust. From manual collation to the introduction of technological innovations such as the bimodal voter accreditation system and the INEC Results Viewing Portal (IREV), efforts have been made to strengthen the system and reassure voters. It is against this backdrop that the Senate reversed its earlier decision on the Electoral Act amendment and re-amended the law to allow for the electronic transmission of election results to INEC's IREV after vote counting. However, the provision does not make electronic transmission mandatory, stating that in the event of internet failure, Form EC84 will serve as the primary means of result collation. Reacting to the development, Mr. Basi Obeten says the essence of the Electoral Act amendment is to enhance and modernize the electoral process, particularly through real-time transmission of electoral activities. He describes the continued emphasis on manual methods as counterproductive, noting that such systems have historically created room for irregularities.
If you are conversant with the discussion, especially as it has to do with the INEC, the Electoral Act. The Electoral Act is supposed to be a document that will guide the conduct of the 2027 election. But you can see the provisions. There were some propositions, some acts, some aspects of the Electoral Act that are supposed to enhance the electoral process. Most of these provisions were not there. Most of these politicians capitalize on it. One of such provisions is the real-time transmission of results that was not part of that 2022 Electoral Act. And people felt that it is very important that this particular aspect is included in this Electoral Act. But you can see politicians who scheme because of their intentions. They have decided deliberately to exclude that aspect. Even when pressure was mounted on them, the best thing to do was, okay, we are aligning that particular clause in the Electoral Act, but with a but. With that but, and you know what politicians can do, they are going to capitalize. In fact, it is that but. The but is that it is allowed side by side. That is the electoral, that is the real-time transmission and also manual transition. And you know it is through that manual transmission of result that they have defrauded Nigerians.
According to him, Nigeria has grown technologically and should be able to transmit election results electronically. He adds that citizens must speak up to ensure reforms that reflect the country's digital capacity and strengthen electoral credibility.
I think that this is not fair for Nigerians, and it is important that everywhere meaning Nigerians should speak up and ask that we have grown to a stage where things can be done electronically. When we do things electronically, it enhances efficiency and also reduces cases of fraud and dishonesty. So I want everyone to support this idea for us to have a free and fair 2027 election. Thank you.
Also speaking, Mr. Lewis Akabu and Joel Adenakun expressed optimism about the role of technology in deepening public trust in elections. Mr. Akabu recalls that during the 2023 general elections, Nigerians were able to view results online before technical glitches occurred, a development he says boosted confidence in the system. He believes strengthening electronic transmission in law would reduce malpractice and encourage more Nigerians to participate in elections, as fear and distrust have discouraged many from voting.
The electoral process did something in 2023 where it was transmitted online, and per vote, as they are compiling the vote, every Nigerians, the nations, everywhere were viewing it on it very easy before there's what we call technical glitch. Then after that technical glitch, they go to court. After court, they just finalize everything. So the electronic transmitter will really help Nigerians to always, and it will boost the confidence of Nigerians. Even though they want to be a fraudulent activity, it will be less, because we have seen in different occasions when Americans, Russia, these people are holding election and the nations are viewing it online, and they don't even need to. They are voting online, not even leaving their house. And in our own way, that people voting will be dying in the process. That is another act that that's why you see Nigeria don't come out to vote in mass, because of the activities going on during voting. So, but the electronic transmitter will really boost the confidence of Nigeria if they can enact it.
The electronic transmission, what I have been reading in news or stuff like that, is a good one. In fact, you're supposed to have developed beyond that as a nation. But it's just that because of our politicians, I would say, we make the system not to be the way it's supposed to be because of our selfish interests. That's it. Even this century now, we are not supposed to even talking about electronics. We ought to have passed that level. We are supposed to get to a stage whereby we can even vote, even on your phone. You can vote. It should be very seamless process. You understand? But it's not that we cannot do it. It's just because of fraudulent activities that we want to commit, because of selfish interest. So the BFRC, they don't know those things supposed to be. They go to other countries. They just decide to do things in a way that they can always cheat Nigerians. They can do things for their own personal interests.
Mr. Adenakun, on his part, notes that Nigeria should be progressing beyond results transmission to more advanced digital voting methods, provided they are transparent and secure. However, he cautions that no system can succeed without integrity among those entrusted with its management.
Yeah, sure. It will make it actually reduce fraud if they will do it if they decide to do it in a very transparent way, because even we are talking about transmission, electronic transmission, if they want to manipulate, there is a way they can manipulate. So it's not just about the process, but it's about the individual that are involved. Are they people of integrity? Are they people that have fear of God? Are they people that are ready to do things for the interests of their nation, the interest of their pockets? Because even the person that is in charge of the transmission, they can still bribe him and still do otherwise. You understand? Yeah, everything can work if you want, but if you have the right people are ready to do the right thing. But aside from having the right people, nothing can work.
As discussions on electoral reforms continue, observers say the true test will not only lie in legislative amendment, but in the commitment to transparency, accountability, and institutional integrity. For many Nigerians, restoring confidence in the electoral process remains essential to strengthening the nation's democracy. For CRBC News Panorama, Ifeoluwa Ekpe Ita reporting.
The International Day of Women and Girls in Science is a day set aside by the United Nations to encourage equal opportunities for women and girls in the field of science. Our correspondent Blessing Basi reports that the day is observed every year on the 11th of February, serving as a reminder that women and girls have rights to fully participate in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, popularly known as STEM, the report.
Research has shown that women and girls who fully participate in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM are very important because they contribute greatly to national development, innovation, and economic growth. The United Nations General Assembly declared the observation of the International Day of Women and Girls in Science in 2015 after recognizing that women and girls were still underrepresented in many scientific and technological careers across the world. In Cross River State, the Commissioner for Information, Dr. Erasmus Ekpang, said the day is set aside to recognize girls to aspire to greater achievements in life, especially in science and technology. He also noted that the world is changing and no longer appropriate to assign specific courses or careers to children based on gender.
It's very encouraging. You know, the way it is now, in everything we do, the girls are actually really measuring up with the boys and all that. So I think I am very impressed to see that we have produced a lot of engineers, a lot of scientists, girls, and at look generally in most schools, most higher schools and university. When it comes to the Faculty of Sciences, girls are always coming up top notch ahead of the boys, so it's quite encouraging. There's no discrimination. We are more impressed and more proud of our girl child when we see one introducing herself as an engineer, we see one introducing herself as a science, ICT, lab tech, and all that. We are more proud of them and more impressed. And as a government, I think we'll continue to do more to encourage our girl child to thrive. You're aware our Commissioner for Women Affairs have been so passionate about the girl child. And with this, I know should always take it personally to actually spring out memos through the Ministry of Education to see how much we can improve in our learnings, improve in our textbooks, improve in encouraging the girl child to actually pick out courses that in the old days would look masculine for boys and men, but now girls are doing very well. So I think it's a good one.
Some parents who spoke on the issues expressed different opinions. Some prefer their children to study science, engineering, and technology because of the opportunities for self-reliance and better job prospects. Others believe that parents should not force career choices on their children, noting that when students are pushed into courses they do not have passion for, it oftentimes leads to poor academic performance and frustration.
I would have loved a child to offer a science subject, being a science, at least to help him secure a particular position, like maybe he may go into medicine, reading medicine or engineering, that may be self-employed. You understand? Because being a science student, you can go into engineering that can help you being self-employed, or medicine that also help you to be self-employed.
You cannot force your child to do what the child does not want to do. You can only support the child and direct the child, guide the child to area you know that the child is very good at. These days, why some students or pupils drop in school is because of the areas which they are not good in. You check your child, and while any of your child comes back from school, you now check the note of lessons and try the child and know the area they are good at. That is when you now push that child into that exam. You cannot, because you've seen Mr. Okun's child, that is maybe reading medicine or engineering or law, then you now say, oh, my child should also be, whereas that child is not good at that. So that is why you see most students, most pupils drop in school.
Despite women and girls' intelligence and capability, many face challenges such as discrimination, limited access to quality education, cultural stereotypes, and lack of encouragement to pursue science-related careers. These tertiary institution students share their views, with many of them saying they prefer science courses such as medicine, pharmacy, and optometry because this profession gives them a sense of purpose and fulfillment, especially in caring for patients and contributing to society's well-being.
I'm actually a science student because I love science and I want to be a nurse. That is the reason why I choose studying science in secondary school and also in my university level, because the course I want to study in the university would determine the course you study in secondary school, right? So that is the reason why I choose science student in my university days. The reason I like being a nurse just to save life. I like caring for patients, treating someone just to make sure you are okay. That's my reason of just being.
While I was in secondary school, I love biology because I was good at it though. I love medicine because I actually wanted to save life and about enlightening people on how to be healthy and how to take care of yourself. Like your health, it matters a lot in our life. So if you have ideas about medicine, health, and other stuff, it can help you in the society. So me, I prefer medicine. Medicine is very good in the society today. So the pharmacy, all those things. Your health matters a lot.
The International Day of Women and Girls in Science therefore serves as a platform to address challenges facing them and promote fairness. However, some secondary school students express mixed feelings, with a number preferring art-related subjects, while others choose science because they believe it offers better financial rewards and career stability.
The reason why I prefer science to arts is because science is more simpler to me than arts. And science pays more than arts. Like medical doctors, they earn a lot. While like, let me say, accounting, they don't really collect money compared to that of medical doctors.
I love arts because it's just an interesting course. Like, arts is just an interesting course, but I don't really like science that much.
Report has it that the International Day of Women and Girls in Science is not just a celebration, but a strong call for equal opportunity and freedom of choice to pursue any career path they desire, whether in science or other fields. For CRBC News Panorama, Blessing Basi reporting.
World Broadcasting Day is celebrated annually on February 13 to highlight the enduring power of broadcast media as a trusted and accessible media for news, education, and emergency communication. The 2026 theme focuses on radio and artificial intelligence, exploring how AI can support broadcasters, improve accessibility, and manage archives while preserving the human touch in storytelling, the report.
Ahead of 2026 World Broadcasting Day on the 13th February, a symposium was held to celebrate the power of broadcasting. Media professionals and enthusiasts gathered to share their thoughts on the evolution of the media space. The keynote speaker, Elder Patrick Oga, highlighted how broadcasting has come a long way from traditional radio to modern digital platforms. Also, the host and senior special assistant broadcast media, Thelma Benz, the Commissioner for Information, Dr. Erasmus Ekpang, enumerated how artificial intelligence has transformed the media landscape, enabling personalized content and improved production quality.
Well, I came on orders that I must report. Well, I came as a keynote speaker of my daughter's program that is unique. And I think it's never, at her level, nobody has driven such a program to that level. I want to celebrate her. She's done very well. It means that
our labor in times past has not been in vain. It's a shining light that is coming forth. And we just pray that more and more will come up, carrying that banner from the stable of broadcasting across the state.
The day, I want to commend the United Nations for setting out this day to actually celebrate broadcasters who are doing so very well. And of course, without them, we will not get the real true story of what's going on everywhere. Without them, we will not be able to know where we'll get to develop, where we'll get to assist, and what we'll get to know about what's happening in the country and in the world at large. So they actually have to be so, commended for most of the wonderful things they're doing.
Broadcasting is very important to governance, and tomorrow actually, is a day set aside globally as World Broadcast Day, originally World Radio Day, but has metamorphosized into World Broadcast Day. And I thought that in Cross River State, especially because of the friendly administration led by His Excellency Senator Prince Bassey Ededotu, who we have as governor, it is only important that we celebrate broadcasters in Cross River State. Broadcasters do a lot of hard work, broadcasters put in a lot of effort, so it is only right that we celebrate broadcasters.
The special advisor on events, Mr. Effiong Ekpenyong, among other media directors from different media outlets, noted that with the 2026 theme, Radio and Artificial Intelligence, AI is a tool, not a voice. Noted that AI-powered tools have made content creation and distribution more efficient, but also raised concern about job displacement and media authenticity.
Well, I feel very excited because this is like our broadcast Christmas day. In the entire year, just one day single, out to celebrate the guys that work round the clock. We rarely have holidays, we rarely have time to unwind, relax. We go out of our way to ensure that we put smiles and joy on the faces of Nigerians and indeed the world at large where they are listening to you from. So I feel very excited because I started this journey years back, and I started from a very humble beginning. That's from the Cross River Broadcasting Corporation. It has paid off. If you would agree with me that consistency pays, and passion and dedication is what kept me on that in this profession up until tomorrow. If it comes again tomorrow, I'll still want to be a broadcaster. So I want to encourage the young generation, the Gen Zs and the millennials, that look, just continue with what you're doing. Be humble. Be very humble.
AI doesn't take away the role of the person behind the microphone. AI cannot do what you're doing now. AI cannot stand where you're standing now. AI would not ask as intelligent the questions that you're asking now, because you do not just ask intelligent questions, you add empathy to it. That is something that AI does not have, empathy. So AI is a tool that enhances our job. It is not to take over the job from us, which is why this year's theme is AI and artificial intelligence. And we're trying to, that's what's going on inside the hall right now. You see, we brought in veteran broadcasters, people who were part of this industry long before AI came on board, who know how research was done manually. But today we have it a lot easier. AI is supposed to help us become better broadcasters, not make us lazy. And so you see, we're teaching people and saying the emergence of AI doesn't take away your human capabilities, your human intelligence, your ability to think, to research, and to put in the work that requires for you to be a great broadcaster.
Some participants expressed gratitude towards broadcasters for their tireless effort in keeping the public informed, educated, and entertained, as well as their dedication to delivering quality content, which has been instrumental in shaping public opinion and bridging cultural divide.
Okay, I'll be talking about the broadcast. In the broadcast field, some people don't really use their mind to talk to the public. They carry their shoulder up, which makes the upcoming broadcasters to see that the field is not really the way it is. And also what I learned in today's program, today that is the World Broadcast Day, that you should put yourself together when reading in a news story, that you don't really know who is watching, and before you say something, before you broadcast something, you should check yourself that people are outside looking at you, the way you put your English together and the way you dress.
I am really glad to be here because I've learned a lot. But one of the highlights of today was the fact that I learned to build my identity and also learned to be known for something meaningful in society. I have a voice and I learned to use the voice positively to affect and impact people in the public space. I am so glad to be here, and I also am willing to learn more, and I'm also willing to rub minds and also be under the mentorship of high-selling individuals in the broadcasting industry.
Okay, World Broadcast Day, just like one of the MCs has said, that is a Christmas day for us broadcasters, and World Broadcast Day is one of the days that remind us that our work is being noticed around the world. And the World Broadcast Day is one of the days that whenever I remember it, I remember that this was one of the things that made me what I am today. So World Broadcast Day is one of the days that made me feel special, as not just as a broadcaster and also as a media person.
We celebrate World Broadcast Day. Today is a special day for broadcasters, journalists, content creators, all people that are in the media sector. So today is a day we appreciate their efforts and recognize them specially. So I think for me today is also a special day as a campus journalist. I also celebrate this day, and it's a very significant day for all broadcasters. And this event is a very good event to also bring media personnel together to connect with each other and also to learn more from senior media personnel.
For CRBC News Panorama, Blessing Bassi reporting.
That is all we have on our lineup this week. We hope to be back same time next week. Do keep it with us. I am Josephine Efanga. For updates and engagement, follow us on our official social media handles: Facebook at CRBC, X formerly Twitter, Instagram and TikTok at CRBC Online, YouTube at CRBC New Media, WhatsApp on 090-377-87474. We look forward to connecting with you.